Hey guys, April here at the Gumboot garden. We are going to be harvesting some horseradish today. Now, mine obviously is looking a little rough for wear, but throughout summer it was like a gorgeous big leafy plant that had some white flowers on it, and it grew really well. So I'm hoping that when we harvest this today, we're gonna get quite a bit to harvest from and have enough to kind of put back into the ground. I'm first gonna start by just seeing if we kind of root around in here a little bit, what we can find. Take out some of this dead stuff. You can technically harvest this at any point in the year, but I've just kind of waited until it grew all summer because I bought it as a small little plant. Although I don't know, I'm not seeing anything close to the surface, so hopefully we got something. The soil is quite tough though. I'm hoping it wasn't too hard for it to grow in. I'm just gonna toss some of this dirt into the wheelbarrow, I guess. Once we're finished harvesting, I also want to head inside and turn this into some gorgeous horseradish sauce. I used to eat this all the time as a kid at my grandparents' house and loved when it had enough kick to hit the back of your nose. Today, I only plan on harvesting one of my 2 horseradish plants. This is actually the first time I'm harvesting horseradish, so it's a bit of a trial run. I want to make sure that my harvesting turns out all right and what I stick back into the container regrows, and to make sure the actual horseradish sauce I'm making tastes good. At this point, I thought it might be easier to actually dump the whole pot out into the wheelbarrow, but as you can see, it was a struggle to get it up there. I mentioned that the soil was so tough, but it was also so heavy to pick up. Horseradish is a perennial, and once you have it growing in your garden, it can be very difficult to get rid of. At least that's what I hear. So that is why I have grown mine in pots. Apparently, even the smallest root left in the ground will regrow into a new plant. Also, the pots I've chosen are quite deep because the taproot can grow multiple feet deep. Oh boy, this is not the most exciting thing to harvest. Certainly not like potatoes where you're like getting pulled up with some prizes every now and then again. We are getting somewhere. I've gotten to a point with this horseradish that I'm not able to really get any more of the soil off of it. So I've decided, so I'm at this right now. So I don't know what I can harvest out of this. I think there are some things, but what I'm gonna do is spray it with the hose to just kind of clean it off a bit more and see exactly what I'm looking at. Oh, we definitely have some usable stuff here. None of this bottom bit. Oh, we've got a big one in there. All right, guys. Looking at this now, I have this big one under here, and I think I can harvest these as well. I'm going to. And this one, yeah. All right. Each one of these little bulb pieces has a like root attached to it, but they're so tangled there's no way I'm gonna be able to untangle them all. Oh, it's coming off a big guy. All right, we're gonna take that. I don't know, we're gonna take a lot of it actually. I'm gonna take that. I'm definitely not harvesting this correctly. If you've harvested horseradish before, just leave a comment on what I'm doing wrong here. Or what I could have done better. Or maybe, surprisingly, maybe I'm doing something right. You can leave that comment as well. I have a feeling I'm not just supposed to be tearing this to bits here. Now that we're inside, the first thing I'm going to do is just have a look at all of these roots here. I'm not even sure this one's usable, but we're gonna try. I'm just gonna cut off some of these smaller bits that really won't have much taste to them. See how they have all these little shoots here? So I'm just gonna go down the whole stem and just pull off these little vines. All right, and then we have this big mama here. I'm just gonna cut off this top crown. Wonder if I can, whoo, that smells peppery. Wonder if I can keep some of that. Actually, I might be able to try and. I can replant this actually. But yeah, I've just kind of cut that as close to those bits as I could. I might try and replant that. Once I finished cutting all of the small roots away, I did grate some of the larger pieces because some of it was quite dark and dirty looking. So I just wanted to get it looking a little bit cleaner. Then I cut it into smaller pieces to prepare it to go into the food processor. I don't really know what size pieces I'm supposed to be putting them into, but I've just kind of put them into pieces that I thought would break up easier into the food processor. Some of these pieces that were closer to the top of the, or closer to the crown, have quite a peppery smell to them. So I'm hoping that it will have a nice kick to it. The more that you let it go, the smaller that the pieces get, and the more it breaks down, the more it brings out the peppery flavor. So I'm gonna let this go for quite a bit. Once I get this to the consistency that I want it, or broken down enough, then we'll talk about the white vinegar. This smells so good. This is getting closer to the consistency that I want, or probably at the consistency that I want. I'll just show you guys up close. There we are. Might give it a little bit taste before we put the vinegar in there. It doesn't taste as hot as it smells. That's unfortunate. But what I might do is, I'm just gonna keep letting this go for a little bit longer and see if I can get it to break down a bit further, and then we'll start to cover it with the vinegar. The next step we have to do is add in white vinegar just until it's kind of soaking the horseradish. I'm not measuring because I didn't measure the horseradish. When you add in this vinegar, this stops the process of the spiciness coming out in your horseradish. So you don't want to do this too soon, but again, if you have like a high power blender or something, you don't want to over blend the horseradish either, because then it could just turn out like really mushy. I'm just gonna grab an actual spoon now so I can stir this and see how much more vinegar I need to add. Okay, so we're still adding in more. That might have been too much. I'm just going to get this blade out of here and get it mixed up a bit more before I put it into a jar. And you want to put it into something that's going to have an airtight seal. It's going right up to the top. And there you have it. It's that easy. Just blend and soak in white vinegar, and once it's in its airtight jar, we're just going to store this in the fridge and it should stay good for 3 weeks, maybe a little bit longer. I've been dying for some horseradish for years now because I haven't been able to find it like this in New Zealand. I've only found it in like it's more of a mayonnaise type of thing. And I've been dying for it this way. This is great on like with crackers and cheese or on a sandwich. I'm really, really excited to try this. I might actually try it now. I think we have some crackers and some cheese, so I'm gonna give it a go. All right, we didn't have any crackers, but we had these like rice cakes. So I have a little piece of rice cake and a little piece of cheese covered with horseradish, and we're gonna give it a taste. Rice cakes are stale. But it wasn't hot, really. I feel like if I'd put a lot more, it could have had a bit of heat. It was nice, don't get me wrong, but I did want to have that bit of heat, you know, where it kind of like hits your nostrils and you're like wasabi. I didn't do that. Update on that wasabi, guys. I had a second piece of cheese with just a little bit more of that horseradish, and it hit the nostrils just like I wanted. So we're exactly where I want to be. Loved it. I will continue to grow horseradish every year and make that sauce. So now we're definitely out for today, guys. I'm gonna keep eating this horseradish sauce.